Let's talk about a brand built on two completely opposite ideas. A brand you think you know, but, well, you probably don't. This is the story of Volvo's two souls. So, when you hear the word Volvo, what immediately pops into your head? Is it safe, sensible, maybe even a little predictable? Yeah, that's the perception. But that's not the whole story. What if I told you that image is hiding a history that's way more complicated and honestly, a lot more exciting? Because underneath that very sensible exterior lies the heart of a total rebel. For decades, Volvo wasn't just building safe cars. It was building absolute monsters for the racetrack, winning rallies, and creating this huge internal conflict between what the company was actually engineered to do and what it was supposed to be. To really get it, we have to go back to the very beginning. We've got to find a Volvo that most people today have never even met. So, picture it, Sweden, 1927. Volvo's founders weren't thinking about excitement or glamour. Their goal was much simpler: survival. They were building cars for brutal winters and really rough roads, so these things were designed with one single idea in mind: strength. They were just ridiculously overbuilt, unbelievably tough. And that toughness? Well, it had a very surprising side effect. So what happens when you build a car that just refuses to break? Well, it turns out you start winning races that other, supposedly faster cars can't even finish. Volvo didn't get into motorsports for marketing. They did it to prove just how durable their cars were. And nothing proved that better than one absolutely incredible victory back in 1965. You have to hear this story. It's just wild. The Singh brothers were driving a used car, a crashed one they'd bought on a payment plan. And in a rally so brutal that only 21 out of 94 cars even made it to the finish line, they came up with this brilliant hack. When they got stuck in the mud, one of the brothers, Jaswant, would just get out and stand on the rear bumper to literally force the wheels down for more grip. Think about that, a human traction control system. And they didn't just win, they absolutely demolished the competition, finishing almost 2 hours ahead of second place. That right there was Volvo's fighter soul in its purest form. But winning like this actually created a really strange problem inside the company. Volvo was starting to get a reputation for performance, and that made some of the executives very, very uncomfortable. By the 1980s, this whole conflict was right out in the open. In 1985, this car, the Volvo 240 Turbo, which everybody lovingly called the Flying Brick, won the European Touring Car Championship. I mean, look at it. A boxy, upright family sedan was out-racing dedicated machines from BMW and Alfa Romeo. It just wasn't supposed to happen. And suddenly, Volvo had an image problem. They were winning too much. This whole paradox hit its absolute peak in 1994 when Volvo did the unthinkable. They entered a station wagon into the British Touring Car Championship. Everyone laughed, but you know who didn't? The crowds. They went nuts for it. And for just a little while, Volvo was genuinely cool. And for a brand that built its entire reputation on being predictable, cool was a real problem. So this really forced a showdown inside the company. You had the engineers proving what the brand could be, but the management was asking a totally different question. What should it be? Yeah, racing was exciting, but it was also a huge risk. And in the end, Volvo made a choice. It wasn't a big, flashy announcement. It was a quiet, strategic shift, a turn of the ship that would define the brand for decades to come. Now, of course, safety was never some afterthought. It was always, always part of Volvo's DNA. The key thing to remember is that back in 1959, they didn't just invent the modern three-point seatbelt. They gave the patent away for free. They decided some things were just more important than profit, and that moral compass would become their new North Star. When Ford bought Volvo in 1999, that identity got locked in. Sure, they got stability, but the price they paid was their rebellious streak. Cost-sharing replaced that unique engineering. The brand stopped trying to compete on performance and started competing morally on safety. The cars got softer, more comfortable, and that wild side was effectively tamed. And this number is the ultimate symbol of that choice. In 2020, Volvo electronically limited the top speed of all its new cars to just 112 miles per hour. It wasn't because the cars couldn't go faster, of course they could. It's because the company chose not to let them. The message was crystal clear: we are not that brand anymore. Now, a lot of car enthusiasts saw this as a total surrender. But from a business perspective, it was a calculated and, as we're about to see, an incredibly successful move. When the Chinese company Geely bought Volvo in 2010, a lot of people feared the worst. They thought, okay, that's it, the brand's identity is gone. But Geely did the exact opposite. They invested a ton of money, and they gave Volvo the resources and the freedom to fully commit to its new safety-first vision. And the results? Well, they really do speak for themselves. This new focus worked like a charm. As you can see, sales just skyrocketed, going from under 450,000 cars in 2011 to over 700,000 by 2019. That cautious strategy wasn't just safe, it was incredibly profitable. So here's the crucial point. Volvo didn't abandon its soul, it replaced it. That old, mechanical, stubborn soul that appealed to car lovers was traded for a new one, a digital, cautious, and intentionally restrained soul that appeals to families, to cities, and to regulators. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important question in this whole story. Here they are, side by side. The old soul, born from a sheer desire to survive the toughest conditions, which accidentally led to this rebellion on the racetrack, and the new soul, born from a calculated decision to own the idea of safety, which led to unbelievable commercial success. You know, they're both valid, they just serve two completely different worlds. So this isn't a story of failure, it's a story of transformation, one that was shaped by reality. The rebellious, overbuilt Volvo of the past, it just couldn't exist in today's world of regulations, legal risk, and what the market demands. The company adapted so it could survive. But you always lose something in the process of adaptation. Which brings the question right back to you. If you believe a car brand should excite you, challenge you, and connect with you on some emotional level, then maybe you'd say Volvo lost its way. But if you believe its job is to protect you, reassure you, and just do its job, then Volvo might be one of the smartest brands in the entire industry. So what do you think is more important, excitement or survival?